Hey everybody, this is Rodney Watson again. I'm going to make this other little video, and I want to talk to you about decision makers. And understand, I think we know what I'm talking about when I talk about decision makers and what it takes to have a decision maker of a major industry or corporation to decide on your site. You have as a real estate agent or even if you're going to be leasing something yourself, you need the decision maker of the business that you're asking to do business with you to be able to decide on that location. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the idea that it's such a big deal and that these decision makers of these businesses are kind of untouchable, or they're above being human. All right? That we forget that they're human like everybody else. And even though they may be multimillionaires, some of you may, even in the day and time we live now, you may be actually dealing with a billionaire if you're trying to bring in an industry to a particular area. But it's the first thing we have to understand is they are human, and they have the same fears, they have the same concerns, they have the same likes as all humans. They may have learned a little bit better way of handling finances than your common person out here, or they was just very aggressive, where a lot of people will be satisfied once they get their house paid for and they're paying cash for cars and they get a little money put up in retirement. You have this select group of people that they're really not ever satisfied with just being comfortable. They want to get about achievement. And that would be the biggest difference that I see with some of these industry leaders. But a lot of times you're not even dealing with the owner. You're dealing with a manager, even if he is a corporate executive. He's still just a manager. He's managing funds for his stockholders and his board of directors or whatever. And I think most of us understand this. But we still have to understand these people are human. And they want to feel safe where they're going to do business. All right? They want to feel like where they're going to do business is a clean area. They want to feel like where they're going to do business that has competent leadership in the local government. And just like all humans, when we ride through an area, we kind of look around to see if the areas feel sketchy or not. We'll make a decision based on a little town about how much trash is on the road. We'll make a decision about a little town about how many buildings are up for rent. Which if you're like an auctioneer, sometimes you see a lot of buildings up for rent. You see opportunity there. But at the same time, you're looking at, well, why are they up for rent? If there's litter all up and down the road, or there's people hanging out on the corners, looks like they're dealing drugs, there ain't a whole lot of opportunity there just because there's a lot of buildings for lease, So all this stuff has to go into the decision maker's thought process. So if you're going to bring an industry into an area, it needs to be clean. It needs to be safe. And it also has to have all the other aspects of what that business owner is looking for. Whether it's infrastructure from sewer, whether it's they need a turning lane put in, or they're going to need a little help putting an off-ramp off of the interstate. There's things that, sometimes the local government has to bring to the table. But the number one thing that we have to understand, these people are human, and they do not want to do business where they don't feel safe. They don't want to do business, no matter how much money you can promise them that they will profit. It's not going to do any good if they feel like they're going to be robbed. And talking about being robbed, they don't want to feel like they're going to be robbed from the local government. They want to feel like they're in a place that has stability and balance to their thinking about business. They don't want to be in a place where they feel like the government's just going to come in and just wipe them out. It will. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of times you'll see businesses running from places like Detroit. You can't feel secure. It doesn't matter if you're going to make $1 million a day at a particular spot in Detroit. if you feel like it's not going to be ongoing, you're not going to build you $1 billion plan in Detroit. And you're certainly not going to want to live in Detroit if you don't feel like it's safe. You know what I mean? So what we have to do is, as real estate agents and auctioneers, and we want to maybe recruit an industry into a particular area, or we want to find properties that we think we can recruit an industry, we have to understand the human side of the person buying that property or leasing that property if you want to be a success. And I think we know what I'm talking about. We're going to have to really start focusing on, in this organization that I'm wanting to help with, we're going to have to really start focusing on just simply cleaning the roads up. We're going to have to focus on crime, because crime scares people to death when they want to do business. We're going to have to start focusing on the high poverty rate in some of these areas and try to get some of this down. Nobody in their right mind says, I want to put a plant in a location or build some warehouses. They never send their people out and say, hey, find me a place that's got high poverty, high crime, high sewer rates, and dysfunctional government. They don't never say that. They never take high crime, high sewer rates, a high poverty rate. They never see these things as a competitive edge for their business. They do look at the labor pool for their business and what they can draw from. But the right plan understands if it's a car manufacturer or an oil rig company or a drill rig manufacturer, they understand sometimes they got to bring people with them. But they know they got to bring people in with them, and those people are going to want to live there and feel safe and that they can afford to live. They can't bring people into an area where it has a lot of cost, and then that just drives the owners of the plant's wages up, because he knows those people he's going to bring in, they're going to be counting the cost and see how well they can compete. So if you put me over your organization, I know some of these things that these people is looking for. And some of it's just basic stuff that's not being taken care of. And we got to get the roads cleaned up. We got to get the crime rate down. People's got to feel safe. We just got to make things a little bit better appealing, and then we can work on some of the other stuff. If you have all the other stuff, but you get these few basic things wrong, even the richest of people, they run from that. Y'all, this is Rodney Watson. I'm going to put out some more videos about being competitive. But we need to understand that all people are people, and they all have the same fears and concern. And we have to address those if we want to compete. Thank you.